Hi guys.
There you
How's it
go.
going?
We're gonna
Okay. So today I'm going to be talking about organic versus conventionally grown food. So what I'm going to be going through is some of the ways that people really don't know what's in their conventionally grown food and how bad it can actually be for them. Then we're going to stroll over to how to get America eating organic and maybe some things we can do to increase the knowledge. And then finally, we're going to talk about health benefits and ecological benefits that organic foods can provide for our earth. So people really don't know how many pesticides and chemicals are in conventionally grown foods, and in many it's up to 30 or 40 chemicals per produce product. And organic foods, they provide an alternative which is much safer for the environment and also safer for your body. So getting into it, problems with conventionally grown foods. The first big problem is pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides, which basically these are synthetic fertilizers or insect repellents that companies will spray on their plants in order to either put nutrients into the soil because they don't rotate their crops. They grow on the same plot of land year after year. So they will spray nutrients, synthetic nutrients into the ground in order for the plants to grow faster. They also use insecticides, which they will basically spray the plants down and make sure that the insects aren't eating their plants. And then they also use fungicides inside the actual ground, and that helps with fungus growth, and it also helps them develop bacteria synthetically. The next step I would like to talk about is getting the United States to get to more of an organic-based diet. And to do this, the only real way is to educate the kids in school about the harms of chemicals and the harms of, well, not GMOs, but just the harms of chemicals and pesticides. There are a lot of cancers related to pesticides, and the farm workers that deal with pesticides, their children are born with horrible deformities, and they themselves they get terrible allergies, and they get very sick from these pesticides, dealing and working with them all day. So on top of you eating these chemicals, it's also affecting the people that pick your food, and it's really destroying lives. On top of that, we also need to bring aware the fact that the animals that are brought up using antibiotics and hormones, they're crammed in small crates, and they never see real daylight. They have horrible lives. So certified organic produce and certified organic animal products, the animals have to have a certain quality of life. They have to be available to outside access. They have to be fed. They have to be able to graze at least 30% of their diet during grazing season, which is typically 130 days. So if they are not, if 30% of their diet is not from the earth, grazing in pastures, they're not allowed to be considered organic. The rest of the feed that they have to be fed on during non-grazing periods needs to be organically grown as well. But that comes up to a problem because the organic market is only less than 1% of all agriculture right now. So the problem that these farmers are having with their animals is they can't find enough organic feed to certify their animals as organic. So in that sense, they will call it natural or 90% organic. There's different certifications and levels of organic. If it is 100% organic, they are allowed to put 100% organic on the label. If, like I said, they cannot find feed that is organic for their animal, they're allowed to say organic, but it cannot say 100% organic, so it's a little tricky, and that's why people are standoffish about organic food, is because the regulation still isn't really there yet. So that is one way that we can also increase knowledge, is to regulate it on an even line and base throughout the whole market, and that will raise people's confidence in the availability of organic food and the security of it. So the last thing I want to talk about is benefits of organic, not only for your body, but for the environment. Organic farmers are not allowed to use, they're allowed to use a couple synthetic fertilizers or pesticides only when all else fails. And when they do use those insecticides, they have to have a USDA organic agent present and basically checking off that they didn't use more than they needed to. So instead of using, like a synthetic fertilizer, an organic farmer would use maybe like cow manure. And people say that there is increased chance of E. coli by doing this, but these farmers know what they're doing, and they use the manure in between growing cycles while they're using crop rotation. They also plant what's called filler produce or plants into the land while they rotate it. And then when growing season comes around again and that land needs to be used, they will till the natural organic matter into the ground. And so instead of having to use these synthetic fertilizers, they will use manure and natural plant waste. And that puts the carbon and the nutrients back into the soil. So those are the ecological impacts of organic, and it really does make a big difference for your food sourcing, and it really helps the environment with clean water and clean air. The other benefit of eating organic is on your actual body. And so there actually haven't really been any nutritional differences that scientists have been able to find between using organic and GMO/conventional foods. It's going to have the same amount of carbs or the same amount of calories, but what it doesn't have is phytochemicals. And phytochemicals are basically nutrients that your body can use instead of using synthetic medications. Phytochemicals help your body, such as like keratin, which is good for your skin and nails, or good for your vision. But anyways, there's a lot of benefits, but you guys can look it up for yourself. There's USDA website, usda.gov/organic, and they actually have full write-ups on everything that you can look at. It's a government website. It's all very good stuff. So today I talked about the problems with conventional food and how people really don't know what's in their food. I talked about how to get America eating organic and a healthier type of lifestyle. I also talked about the benefits of eating organic. And people really don't know how many pesticides and chemicals are in their food on a daily basis, so changing to organic is a really good alternative, and it could really save a lot of lives. Thank you.